What's up, everybody, and welcome to the third episode, the third official episode of Not the Best Podcast's commentary track. Today we're going to do Kingsman: The Secret Service in honor of Kingsman: The Golden Circle being out in theaters. My name is David, and as always is with me my best friend.
Ivan.
And I already told you what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to do. Alright, so anyone keeping up, synced, we have Kingsman: The Secret Service on, and we have it up to the part where the 20th Century Fox logo has officially ended. We're on a black screen, and we're about to press play. You ready, Ivan?
Yep.
Alright, let's do this. I'm pressing play in 3, 2, 1. Alright. Black screen still. We're at I think this is Marv's logo. It's kind of a retro video game kind of thing. I think he changes this logo with every single movie he does.
I thought it was the same for Golden Circle, because I remember the retro feel to it, and I remember it fading into like those color palette tests.
I remember the colors are the same, so that if you're blind, you can't see that logo at all. But I don't remember that video game look. I don't know. Maybe I'm just crazy. I know it was different from when he directed the X-Men films. I don't know. I think that's his specific production company.
Okay.
So that's what he owns Marv, or Marv owns him possibly.
And who is this? Just to clarify for people.
Matthew Vaughn, the director of this film. Yes. So we're big fans of Matthew Vaughn. I loved what he did with X-Men First Class. I loved what he did with Kick-Ass. And me and Ivan are both very big fans of this movie, Kingsman: The Secret Service. Isn't that right, Ivan?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's a lot different from what I expected when I first saw it, but in a good way.
What did you expect when you saw this movie? What did you expect before you saw this movie for the first time?
If I remember right, I expected like just a shitty James Bond-esque thing that was supposed to be like for the younger generation, you know?
Yeah, like a cooler, hip, young man's James Bond.
Yeah. And what I got was completely different. It was a he blew up. Okay.
I think it is technically like a young man's James Bond, but in a good way.
In a good way. It's definitely a little bit more where James Bond had its like sexual humor and innuendos. This is just like, hey, fuck me in the ass if you save the world.
Yeah, so this movie, it's very cheeky. It's literally very tongue-in-cheek. And it plays to its strength very well. And its strength is making fun of James Bond. And I think in doing so, you have a very good movie that could have been a very good James Bond movie had the James Bond movies themselves gone in a completely different direction. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after like the Bourne movies came out, and those movies with Matt Damon were all grungy and dark and gritty, they were like, oh my god, this is what James Bond should be. And so I went into like a very gritty and serious, you know what I mean? Like it went very dark and serious in terms of tone. And I think this is where the movies would be if they stood in kind of that campy, cheesy, but still very grounded route. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because this movie is very cheesy and is very campy, but it's still so good at the same time.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Can't really say the same for the Golden Circle.
Yes, so we feel some type of way about the Golden Circle. We both saw it opening weekend because we both thought we were going to be treated to a good sequel, and I think we'll save our thoughts for a little bit later. But suffice it to say, we're both pretty disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly.
Yeah. So I think my biggest issue with the Golden Circle, and again we'll go into this a little bit later, is that what we're seeing right now with Harry and Eggsy, this is a very important and very impactful scene. It's very somber, it's very quiet, but it's very serious. There is nothing in the Golden Circle that takes itself seriously at all.
Yeah, I'm trying to like just look back on my memory. I feel like I try to erase some parts of that movie from my head. But,
Already?
Yeah, but no, honestly, yeah, like it doesn't have that very somber, like emotional moment that connects you with the person.
Like nothing. Like already, you can feel it. One of their guys died while on a mission, and he went to the mom and he's talking to the kid. It's a very serious moment, and it's about to be juxtaposed right now by a very silly moment with Mark Hamill, and we're about to meet the villains, and he has a lisp, and he has a bodyguard with no legs but like swords for legs, and it's a very silly moment. But it's contrasted by these very serious moments, and I feel like Kingsman: The Golden Circle forgot how to have serious moments. You know what I mean?
Just to help balance everything out and round it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but by the time I saw this, I already knew I was gonna have a fun time. Have you ever read the comic book to Kingsman?
No, I have not.
So the comic book, which came out first, it has this scene where these guys kidnap the actor Mark Hamill. And in the movie, they got real life Mark Hamill to play the role of the guy that they kidnap.
See,
so I thought
that's real nice. That's a nice little bonus.
That's fun. That's a fun little, that's a neat little thing for comic book fans. And so I already knew I was going to have fun. On top of how violent this scene becomes, you can see it in Mark Hamill's face. He's like, what the fuck is going on? And this dude's about to get sliced in half, which is amazing. I knew I was in for like a fun time.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, man. Like Kingsman, the original Kingsman, the one we're currently watching.
This one, yes.
They have some fucking amazing fight scenes, man. Like beautifully choreographed, where it's just like very fluid.
They have a certain style to them, They feel like visceral, like how Matthew Vaughn controls the camera, the zooming in and out, and the fast pace, and it's like some of the scenes and like the church scene in specific, when we'll get to that, feels like a Mad Max scene. It's just chaos, just pure chaos, and it's very frenetic and energetic. There's a lot of that here, and there's a lot of that in the Golden Circle, but there's probably a little bit too much of that in the Golden Circle. So how do you feel about this girl with her sword for legs?
She reminds me of an over-the-top Bond villain.
Absolutely. Hence the point, Ivan.
I love the fact that, like, the head boss, like the evil villain of the whole plot, can't take blood.
It's one of those little details that, the little characteristics that define him as a character.
Yeah.
It just really makes you remember him. You're like, oh, it's Samuel L. Jackson, but oh, he has a lisp, and oh, he doesn't like blood. It's just the little things that make him stand out. Unlike some villains in the second movie, which I can't tell you a single thing about.
Oh, We'll save that for later.
We'll save it for later, because we do enjoy this movie. This is a fantastic movie. I think this might have been one of my favorite movies of 2015. I think it might have been in my top 10 list of the year for 2015. I don't know if you remember that year. That was it feels like already a millennia ago.
Yeah.
It was only 2 years ago. I think this movie paved the way for Deadpool, to be honest with you.
Really?
So no one acknowledges this, but so when Deadpool came out, it came out as a rated R comic book adaptation by Fox that was released in February. This movie is a rated R comic book movie released by Fox that came out in February. And I think this movie was very successful. It wasn't critically acclaimed, but it was relatively, well received by critics and fans, and it was very financially successful. So I think with this movie doing okay, Fox was like, all right, Deadpool, we'll give you a shot. They released that the same month, the very next year, and Deadpool was a super smash hit. And I know a lot of people don't connect the two together, but I think the success of this movie does contribute a lot to the success of Deadpool. Whether or not that's true, I have no idea. But I do think when it came out when it did help Fox and its success with Deadpool.
Okay, I can definitely see that. Here we have a little meeting with the other Kingsmen. They're talking about their recently deceased comrade.
The guy we just saw die in the very first 5 seconds of the movie.
Who was cut in half by a lady with sword feet.
That was a very, very fine cut. You know what I mean? Like, that was perfectly symmetrical cut. Yeah. You think she fillets chicken with those swords? You know, she cooks a fine meal with those swords?
Yeah, just starts stomping around the kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely. Not that she's a female, because that would be sexist.
Oh, God. See, I feel like I would immediately die if I had those.
What do you mean? Like, you wouldn't be able to walk around?
No, like, I'll walk around, but I'll forget something, and, like, I'll scratch my legs. I'm like, oh, I have no fingers now.
Like, you would cut yourself in half with the sword.
Yeah, like, I'm running and I trip, and all of a sudden, like, oh, I have my leg impaled into my chest.
I'm sure it happens all the time. I'm sure that's exactly why they don't sell swords for legs. That's why they sell legs for legs.
I'm dying.
So we're learning about Mark Hamill. He's some sort of professor about something or other that's very important to the plot.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. The first time I saw this, I did not realize Mark Hamill was in it.
Yeah, gee, that's Luke Skywalker. So this came out before The Force Awakens came out. So this was like... So seeing this was fun for me on a level that Mark Hamill, who, I mean, he was always active and he's always active in a bunch of like voice work and like cartoons and stuff, but he wasn't really in a movie for a long time. So seeing him in this before getting to see him as Luke Skywalker in The Force Awakens, that was pretty fun, especially in a fun movie like this.
Oh yeah.
So I was very pleased to see him. I mean, of course, the standout performance in this movie is hands down Colin fucking Firth, yeah?
Yeah. He was it was absolutely fantastic.
He is an Academy Award winning actor. Like he's an actor of actor. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I'm an actor. Yes, the arts of acting and the arts of filmmaking as a whole. And they put him in like this violent, bloody, rated R action movie where he gets to have his own action scene towards the end. It's fucking phenomenal. Like, I absolutely love Colin Firth because of his role in this movie.
So, I wanted to bring up off-topic subject, I guess I should say.
Sure.
So Blade Runner, you know, the new one's coming out pretty soon.
Oh yeah. That's coming out real soon.
So, apparently the director of Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo, and Space Dandy, some pretty good series. I've only seen Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo. I've seen a little bit of Space Dandy. Wasn't my thing.
So okay, yeah. Go ahead.
The director of all those is creating a Blade Runner anime to bridge the first and second movies.
Okay, so I do know what you're talking about. There's a couple of short films released already for Blade Runner that is set between the first Blade Runner and the new one that's coming out. To my knowledge, there's been two. At the time of this recording, there's been two that's been released. One of them is live action, and it actually has Jared Leto in it. And the other one is animated. And from my knowledge, there is going to be a third one, and it is going to be like anime style. So I think that's what you're talking about, yeah?
Yeah. I believe the other one that already came out that's animated is Blade Runner Blackout 2022, right?
I haven't watched. I watched the live action one. I didn't watch the animated one.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, I know that director's like past work, and I mean it's pretty good stuff. It's some of the pillars, I guess, of the anime community.
So you're a huge anime fan?
I mean, I wouldn't say.
No. You're a huge anime fan.
I do dabble in the animes.
So Cowboy Bebop and everything else that you mentioned, you're big fans of those those animes, yeah?
Yeah, like I said, Cowboy Bebop. It's one of the first ones I ever saw. I feel like it's a lot of people's first in our generation, especially because it was on Toonami,
Oh yeah.
and people just experienced it that way. And Samurai Champloo was the same thing. It was it was on Toonami, I believe, and kind of one of the first ones people saw. Space Dandy's more of a recent one. Um, I saw I think 1 or 2 episodes and wasn't really a fan of it.
Sure.
I think I just wasn't really trying to pay attention, or I started off mid-season. But yeah, pretty much I am a big fan of it, of anime.
So what do you think about this Blade Runner anime style short film set in between the two films? Are you looking forward to it? Are you gonna watch it? How do you feel about Blade Runner in general?
We had discussion before. For me in Blade Runner, I appreciate what it did for the genre and just film in general more than I do the movie itself.
Yeah.
I thought the movie was all right. It's definitely not one of my favorites. It's all right. Like I said, I think it's just more. It did more for film in general than the movie itself. But I mean, I'm interested in seeing it. I'll definitely watch this. I'm always a big fan of cyberpunk animes and just stuff like that. So
Yeah, I do think if there was a movie that kind of that's lore lends itself to the anime style, yeah, I think Blade Runner could work. I think they did this with the Matrix when that came out, and they did the Animatrix.
Oh yeah,
They had all those different anime adaptations of what happened in between certain Matrix movies. So I think that could be pretty cool too. I'm actually thinking, speaking of Blade Runner, our next podcast should be on the first Blade Runner to coincide with the release of the new one. Seeing as how me and you have pretty similar viewpoints on it. I want to like the movie more than I actually like it. Like, I respect it for what it did, but it's not one of my favorite sci-fi films of all time, which a lot of people tend to peg it as. But I'm still really looking forward to this sequel. So I don't know, maybe it could be worth rewatching and talking about.
Yeah, I would definitely be down for that.
Yes, check out for that. How do you like Taron Egerton as Eggsy? Do you like his acting in these movies?
So the hesitation I just had says a lot.
Come on, you don't like Eggsy? I love this kid.
I want to say yes. I do. I like his acting. I like the way he portrayed the character. But there's something in the back of my head I just can't put my finger on. I'm just like,
Has your opinion on the second movie in general affected your opinion on this kid as a whole at all?
I wouldn't say so. Just because I didn't. My problem was the second movie was him. It was more so just fucking everything.
Everything else, literally everything else with the movie. Yeah, I think he's great in these films. He wasn't really in anything before these, so he's a relatively newcomer, and this was really his breakout performance. He was in another Matthew Vaughn produced film, Eddie the Eagle.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Or
I have
heard
not, but I definitely heard of it.
Yeah, he's good in that too, and it's obviously a very different role. Eddie the Eagle being a very timid but very stern Canadian boy who was set on his dreams and wanted to go to the Olympics. Very different kind of character from Eggsy, who's kind of this cocky, thuggish kid who becomes this cool, sly spy. So I think this kid has range, and I really like his performance in this. I really like him, yeah. His accent is so fucking thick though in these movies. Like, rewatching it, I don't remember his accent being so thick.
Yeah, I definitely. I don't think it was as thick as it was in the. I mean, I don't think it was that thick in the second movie, right?
I don't think it. I don't think I noticed it as much, but I don't think I noticed it as much the first time I saw this movie to begin with. So like rewatching it, I'm like, that's definitely a very thick accent. And I believe he's British, so I don't think it's a fake accent. But it's just, you know what I mean? It's just noticeably thick is all I'm trying to say.
I feel that.
Come on, bruv.
Oh, man.
But he's good. He's very good. I think it was interesting to make the setting completely in London, in Britain, you know? It gives it a nice, different spy kind of take than what we're used to with like James Bond or Mission Impossible or James Bond, you know? Like James Bond is obviously in London, but it's the films, how they're crafted, are just very Americanized in general.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that. I mean, like it's like he's a British, I guess, superhero, or just fable, but it's more made for American audiences, I would say.
Sure, I agree with that, 100%. You know what's interesting? So this movie came out. Oh, this is a great scene. Manners maketh man, Ivan.
Oh man, they try to reproduce this scene.
Ah.
Oh man.
I don't know how I felt about that.
I didn't.
So there's a lot of things in the second movie that I just don't know why they made those choices. There's a lot of things they made in the second movie that I feel like kind of betrayed, or at least kind of went backwards to what this movie was trying to stand for. Do you know what I mean at all? Like, this movie had a certain weight to it. And all of that is defined by the choices that Eggsy makes and Galahad and Harry make. And I feel like they just kind of undo certain things that are just completely unnecessary. It kind of just... What's important in this film, upon watching the second film, is like, yeah, it's not as important. It's not as impactful, which is sad.
Oh no, absolutely, man. Like, so I think
like
I know
this
specifically.
This scene is fucking awesome.
No, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like these fight scenes, just how they're choreographed, how well they're done, and like you said, just the cinematography of it all, where it feels so like visceral. So
yeah, it's over the top, but it's just, you can't help but be entranced with the way it's all shot. And then, but it's used sparingly in this movie.
Yes, yeah. See, it's not over the top.
And in the second movie, I guess it's one of those too much of a good thing. You know what I mean? It's used so often that you kind of get sick of it. So awesome. Look at that. And then he just sits down and finishes his pint. It's great. As I was going to say, so this movie came out the same year as a James Bond movie came out.
Spectre, right?
Spectre, yes. I think they're I think they're received the same way. Like, I think they have the same, roughly around the same Rotten Tomatoes score. I think this is a far better film than Spectre. I think this is a far better film than most James Bond movies in general. How do you think this movie compares to Spectre? Seeing as they're both, this movie being a spoof of James Bond and a real James Bond coming out several months afterwards, how do you think the two compare?
All right, well, first of all, I'd like to say Spectre is probably one of the better James Bond movies so far. At least I've seen it. It was pretty good. Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, I just wasn't too big of a fan. That being said, I have to agree with you, man. Like, I feel like it clicked more for me was this movie. I just think like James Bond is just more of an older generational thing. You know, like that, like dapper, just spy. Yeah. That's just, it's going the wayside, man. Got to make room for these young hip kids.
Do you think you think a James Bond movie could still work in the modern era? Do you think, because they still want Daniel Craig back, even though they're having issues with which studio is going to have the rights to James Bond? I think we talked about before, like Apple or Amazon were bidding to kind of have James Bond. Do you think a James Bond movie could work in the same style as, say, a Spectre or a Skyfall? Or do they need to change it up a bit? Do you think this movie influenced the need for James Bond to kind of change it up a bit?
Now, what do you mean by work? Do you mean just do well in the box office, or do you mean just become like a critically acclaimed movie that everybody just loves?
I think critically acclaimed, because I think the movies, no matter what, are still going to be financial successes. So I think Spectre didn't do the numbers they wanted it to do. I think with the budget it had and the marketing it had, it barely did a little bit more than just break even. But it still made its money. They obviously want to get Daniel Craig back, and they wouldn't want to put so much effort into that if it were such a bust. So I'm not so much talking about financially speaking, because I think worldwide, one could argue, that Spectre did make more money worldwide than this movie did. But I think overall, as a narrative, this movie is much better and deserves more money than Spectre got. So I'm talking more in terms of, critical acclaim and just being more well received by the general movie-going audiences in general.
See, I can't, I'm not able to see, the James Bond franchise kind of leaning more towards what Kingsman is doing, just because I feel like that would just mess up the entire, what James Bond is, I feel like it's just this very strict formula that they follow, because that's what a James Bond film is.
Well, James Bond, they've been able to switch it up every now and then. So the Pierce Brosnan era, aside from like GoldenEye, were pretty silly films. They're all about the gadgets and the cars and whatever, and they could be silly and over the top. And it wasn't until more recently that they started getting more grounded and serious and gritty. So I do think they could switch it up, but I don't know how anymore, because the only way to go away from being serious is to start being more silly. But I think now that Kingsman out, and Kingsman is that silly kind of James Bond version, you can't just copy that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's a sticky situation that James Bond is in right now, especially after all the rights in the studios and the politics behind just trying to make that movie, let alone trying to figure out what kind of tone they want the movie to be. If they make the next one, it's gonna have to be like the same. It's gonna have to be like gritty and serious, because you can't just change the tone with the same actor.
Yeah.
You'd have to reboot it again. You would have to find a silly director with a different actor who's up to being more silly. I don't know. I mean, Daniel Craig can obviously do a sillier role. We saw that in Logan Lucky. We loved his redneck interpretation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But wasn't that like one of his first silly roles out there?
I think so. I think one of the most notable ones. I haven't seen anything he's done really before James Bond, so I can't speak of any of his films before that. But I definitely know since James Bond, he's kind of been like this. Oh, yes, I'm an actor and everything is beneath me. So Logan Lucky was refreshing to kind of see him do something more silly and less serious.
Yeah.
So I think he could have done a good interpretation of James Bond that way, but I think his time as James Bond is kind of done.
Also, I just want to throw out, man, that I feel like that movie just kind of cemented for me in my head how well of an actor he is.
Daniel Craig?
Yes.
Because Logan Lucky, you're saying yeah. Logan Lucky. Yeah, okay. Gotcha.
Because like he was able to switch it up, between being like a very serious, like you say, like everything's beneath me, to just being absolutely fantastic in his new role as this character in Logan Lucky, and just completely owning it, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. A lot of people don't like him as James Bond. I think he's a good James Bond. I think he's a good actor. I think he combines a lot of what made all of the other previous incarnations of James Bond work, and kind of form them into one solid James Bond, which just happens to be in just like this dark and gritty, everything's so serious universe. But I think if his films just so happened to be lighter in tone, he would have fit in just as well. So I don't blame anything that's happening with James Bond on Daniel Craig, because I enjoy seeing him as James Bond. I just don't think he's been in the best films James Bond has had, per se.
I can see that.
Aside from Skyfall, I absolutely fucking loved Skyfall.
Skyfall was one of the better ones, yeah.
I think that's my favorite James Bond film.
Who was the most recent James Bond actor before Daniel Craig?
I think it was Pierce Brosnan. I could be wrong. I don't know if you want to check that up. Because I'm not a big fan of the James Bond franchise, and so I don't know a lot of the actors who played James Bond. So the James Bonds that like stay in my head are obviously Sean Connery, who was the first, Pierce Brosnan, who I just so happen to grow up with because he played James Bond in the 90s, and then Daniel Craig, since he's just James Bond now. That's who I think of when I think of James Bond. I think of Daniel Craig. Anyone before Pierce Brosnan, after Sean Connery, I literally have no idea.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It was Pierce Brosnan.
And he's not that bad of an actor himself. It's just the movies he was in were just so stupid and cheesy and corny and over the top. He's alright. He's an alright actor. Oh. He's gonna be in that that new Jackie Chan film that's coming out. The one you want to see?
Oh yeah. It's the more serious tone for Jackie Chan.
Yeah, apparently Jackie Chan's first serious role was it The Foreigner?
Yeah, like The Foreigner.
Something loses his daughter. So Jackie Chan's Taken.
Pretty much.
Every old man has to have their version of Taken, Ivan. You can't be an old actor unless you have your own version of Taken.
All right, so I got a question to ask you. Speaking about these, older movies and stuff like that, what do you think about the Death Wish trailer? The new Death Wish, I should say.
That's the one with Bruce Willis, right?
Yep.
So I basically think that is taken for Bruce Willis, to be honest with you.
It's in Chicago, man.
I know, but the way they marketed it in the trailer turned me off. So the trailer starts with them, what's going on in Chicago? Another gun shooting in Chicago. And so I'm curious to see how much of that is in the movie, because if it at all happens to be this kind of preachy kind of movie where it's like, oh, you gotta fix the streets of Chicago, then I don't give a fuck, because I don't like that at all in terms of how they're implementing that in the movie. Aside from that, I think it could be pretty fun. It could be just a fun rated R Bruce Willis killing people, basically Taken movie. I don't know. Again, I have mixed feelings of it because of how the trailer incorporated the Chicago stuff, and because Eli Roth is directing it. I'm not the biggest fan of Eli Roth. I almost, not disrespect, I almost actively avoid Eli Roth films.
Okay.
I don't agree with him on a lot of things and how he makes his movies. So I don't know. This does look like a movie that's more mainstream than, say, some of his other films. The last film he made, I don't even remember. It was a cannibal film. It came out in like 2013. It was I don't know, you probably don't remember. It was this movie. It was an homage to like this other film that actively was about real cannibals, and it was documentary style, and that movie actually did kill animals while filming.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so Eli Roth making a movie that's an homage to a movie that I just disagree with on an ethical level, on top of the fact that I don't like a lot of his films on a just personal level, like Hostel or Hostel Part 2, I'm very hesitant about seeing what his version of Taken would look like, especially when set in Chicago.
You know, I'm starting to see what you mean, honestly.
Before I said that, were you looking forward to Death Wish at all?
Yes and no. I mean, I feel like I kind of land the same as you do, where it could be a fun little popcorn flick, you know, just go see it one day when there's nothing going on. Something like that, but...
Yeah.
I mean... Now that you bring up the whole, like, Chicago thing, how they portray that, and, like, how that would be, I can't see it being any good.
Death Wish, that's an actual franchise. So this is a reboot, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the other Death Wish films at all?
Bits and pieces of the first one.
Okay, because I have no knowledge of any of the previous Death Wish films, so I don't know what to expect from this movie at all. I don't know if any of them were set in Chicago or any of them dealt with gun violence at all, or I just honestly don't know. So I don't even know about the quality of those films. So I was wondering if you had seen any of them before, if you had felt any type of way about them, and maybe that's why you wanted to see this new Death Wish.
Like, I've definitely heard of them before. Like I said, I've only seen bits and pieces of them, but yeah, it's just something that kind of popped in my mind.
Yeah, sure, just a fun movie to kind of go see.
Yeah. On
a Tuesday for $5.
Pretty much, honestly.
A matinee price. AMC movies, yeah, they got that. If you're a Stubbs member, they got that $5 T-Mobile Tuesdays, $5 ticket Tuesdays. I think that's what they're calling it. I'm still waiting for my fucking movie pass.
So how is that? Because like you joined up, but like tell me about that actually.
Movie pass?
Yeah.
I haven't gotten it yet. It's been a couple weeks. So ever since they announced the drop in price for $10 a month, they've gotten an overwhelming response of people trying to join in. And so they just didn't have the amount of people working with MoviePass to meet demand.
Okay.
So they sent out an email to everyone who signed up explicitly stating that, you know, when they dropped the price, they didn't expect the overwhelming response, so they've hired more people to come and work with them. So they're expecting the MoviePass, which should have been about a week to get to you, now looks like more like 2 to 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm still waiting. So I can't speak on it yet. But I hope it's good. I hope it's worth it. They did at least say they don't charge. I mean, since it could be a potential 4-week wait, they don't charge your subscription until you first started using the pass.
Okay.
Like until you go to the theater and you use the pass, then they start charging for your subscription. So I do appreciate that, because that would suck to have to pay $10 for having not seen a single goddamn movie.
See, no, my question is, like, how does this work with, like, reserving seats? Because I know, like, my theater, it's all assigned seating in my local AMC. And, like, how would that work out? Because I usually buy my tickets online just ahead of time, so I don't have to, like, actually deal with it when they go there.
That's an interesting question. From my understanding, you can't reserve seats so far ahead of time. So I think you would have to order seats the day of. So, you know, when, like, you really want to see a movie, say, like, for Star Wars, that's not a movie you'd want to use your movie pass on if you wanted to go, say, opening night. Because you show up with your movie pass on opening night, odds are there's not going to be any seats. So...
Okay, yeah, I feel that.
But I mean, like, for say for a movie like Kingsman, where you know it's not going to be sold out opening night, and you just want to go, you just have to order your tickets the day of.
So, all right, I got me another question.
Yeah.
So, okay, what's the deal with in this movie.
Well, he gets his pug.
No. Yeah, but in this movie, oh hey, remember that guy in the second movie?
JB.
All right, so okay, what's the deal with like in this movie? The main evil character Samuel Jackson, he implants people with chips in their head, right?
Yes.
And when they explode, it's super colorful and trippy. Now, was that just stylized to like not have all the excess blood and gore, or is that just how like the plot actually is? Where it's supposed to be like a real trippy explosion?
Yeah, so that's a complete creative choice on the director's behalf. It's just an artistic choice. It's just fun. Like, so instead of everything looking like bloody and gory, to just have it look like fireworks and fun and rainbows, and it just goes in the style with the rest of the movie. How it is, very serious, like people fucking die, but at the same time it's silly and it's fun. A poof of rainbow appears after your head explodes.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering about that.
It's just a fun creative choice. He wants to shoot his pug. Oh!
Foreshadowing.
What do you think about pugs? A lot of people don't like them.
Dude.
Oh, look at him. He's carrying his pug. Come on. I hate what they did to the pug in the second movie. This pug specifically went to the premiere of the second movie in a little pug tuxedo.
Are you serious?
Dude, I swear. Yeah, yes, I'm absolutely serious.
Now, wasn't Kingsman the Golden Circle the one that canceled their original like Hollywood premiere to donate all the money that was going to go for it to the Hurricane Relief Fund?
Well, as far as I never read up into that. So you're the one that told me about that. So if you don't remember, I would not know that at all. But I think from what you told me last time, yeah, that it was Kingsman the Golden Circle. I can't verify that, and I just am too lazy to look that up. But if that is true, then fucking kudos to Fox and everyone involved in the movie for making funds go to a cause that definitely needs money and donations.
Yeah.
So again, I ask you the very serious question. What is your opinion on pugs?
Man, I don't know. They're so weird. Actually, no, I think they're pretty cute. I was thinking of English bulldogs or bulldogs where...
That's what he thought it was, but it's a pug.
Yeah, where they have trouble breathing and stuff like that.
Yes.
Pugs are pretty cute, though, man. I can definitely have
pug life, man.
Pug life.
So they're related to the boxer, and I've had two boxers, and I love my boxers, and so I can see having a pug very easily in the family, having a pug,
Yeah, I feel that.
You got a little pig-like tail and a very, very short snout.
So here we have some plot development with the main antagonist, Samuel Jackson.
Yes, his evil, maniacal James Bond plot to take over the world. So that's his girlfriend. That's his girlfriend in the second movie. Yep. That took me like 15 minutes to remember who she was.
Yeah. I think the most I remembered her from the first movie was just, if you save the world, you can fuck me in my ass.
Yeah. So, I guess minor spoilers. Getting into the Golden Circle. So they're dating in the second movie. Eggsy and this princess of country that I forget. And so I'm like, oh, he has a girlfriend. Good for him. And then I remember they're talking about sex, and then they talked about the first time they met. I'm like, that's the fuck me in the ass girl. Yeah. I'm like, oh shit. She like lost her accent in the second movie or something. She sounded totally different to me.
I just felt like that was just a huge curveball out of nowhere, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad that they humanized her character. A lot of people were upset with, the ending of the movie kind of being really sexist. But I mean, I think they did her character justice, kind of, sort of. It was definitely just nice to see her again. It wasn't just a one night stand for Eggsy.
Yeah.
Because so the joke is obviously that James Bond basically is a womanizer and sleeps with just whoever he wants to. And so it was like, oh, Eggsy, if he gets the girl too, he gets to sleep with the girl. Haha, wink wink, nudge nudge, elbow to the ribs. So I thought the joke was pretty clever. I mean, I thought it was funny. I definitely got a good chuckle out of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think it was made with ill intent. Like, I don't think it was made on purpose to be sexist. That being said, there's a joke in the second movie I don't think comes across as well.
Yeah, there's a whole scene in the second movie where I forget how to pronounce.
So do we want to get into spoilers at all with the Golden Circle yet? We've been teasing it. We're almost an hour into the movie. Like, do we want to?
Yeah, I'm down for it if you are.
Yeah, let's just so that we can get our thoughts. We've talked about the Golden Circle more than we've actually talked about the Secret Service. So I guess we'll get into some spoilers for the Golden Circle. So if you haven't watched the Golden Circle, I was gonna say go ahead and watch it, but I wouldn't recommend it for people to watch it because I wasn't that big of a fan. So I guess if you don't care about watching the Golden Circle, if you have seen it, or if you want to see it, pause it. Otherwise, go ahead and continue to listen to this because we're gonna go ahead and get into some spoilers for the Golden Circle.
Yeah.
There's a vagina joke in the second movie. That made me so uncomfortable, man.
So apparently, that entire sex scene that was in you know which one I'm talking about was the
yes,
where he has the implanted tracker. That made
yes.
What's the actor that plays Eggsy's name?
Taron Egerton.
Yeah, apparently it made him very uncomfortable and just like he did not want to do the scene.
Cause he had to do the scene, you know. He had to. I mean, there's sex scenes, but that's like. It's borderline rape because he puts a fucking chip in her vagina.
Yeah.
And before the scene even goes down, you know it's about to happen. So like the whole thing starts when Pedro Pascal hands him a super small condom, and he makes the joke, "Oh, I thought you guys were supposed to have bigger condoms," and it's like, "No, it's not for your dick." And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to put this on my finger, and it's gonna have to go in her tumor, right?" And so it's like, as soon as they see that, you're like, "Oh my god, they're gonna do a vagina joke, and it's gonna be so uncomfortable." But then they keep going, and then you see the vagina joke, and then you actually go inside a computer-rendered vagina, and you're like, "Why the fuck am I watching this right now?"
Yeah, man.
It was so unnecessary, and. I mean, were you uncomfortable at all when you watched that? Was anyone you were with uncomfortable when you watched that? Because I remember I didn't want to watch the screen, and the girl I saw it with was like, oh, they went for it. They actually went for it.
Yeah, so I actually saw this with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I if I recall correctly, I think she, like, visibly, like, turned or, like, tussled in her chair, like, to signify, like, uncomfortableness. Hey, honestly, I was just kind of like, well, okay, we're doing this. All right, okay. I guess.
I think Matthew Vaughn was just trying to outdo himself. I think he was like, "Oh, they didn't like my ass joke in the first movie. Well, then I'm gonna have a vagina joke in the second movie, and I'm gonna actually show it. And I had a lot of fast-paced action scenes in the first movie. I'm gonna have 7 more fast-paced, visceral action scenes in the second one. They had robot legs in the first movie. Well, we're gonna fucking have robot dogs in the second. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all of those things didn't make Kingsman so special. I mean, they added on top of it, but they weren't like the defining things that made Kingsman, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely.
Take this scene, for example. They're skydiving. This is really cool. This is a cool scene, and it's shot, like, in a very interesting way. There's nothing like this in the second movie.
No, absolutely not. And
it's all... No, go ahead.
Like what we were talking about earlier, like this scene that kind of helps ground the characters and gives you like backstory and just humanizes them. We don't have any of that either.
It's gone. So you don't have moments in the second movie that ground the characters in any sense of realism. You don't have any scenes that feel unique to their own, like the skydiving scene right here. So all you're left with is a guy just trying to do the same thing again. Action scenes, let's do more. Uncomfortable sex jokes, let's do more. Oh, you liked Harry in an action scene? Let's have more of Harry. Like, just totally unnecessary.
Yeah, I feel like the closest thing they got to something like that was probably like the cabinet member for the president, where she's like, oh, you know, we can't let these people die, and then it turns out she's actually like a drug user as well, and it was. But then
they don't go anywhere further with that.
No.
You know?
And speaking of that, I'm sorry to interrupt, but that CGI in like the stadium prison was fucking garbage. We are in 2017.
That looked like.
That reminded me of CGI from like a Spy Kids movie I fucking saw in 2003 or something.
Yeah, that looked like poor video game rendered CGI, man. Like, look at this shot. Look at how everything right now with their skydiving. This looks really well shot.
Yeah.
And that I don't know what happened, because he got more money for the second movie. The budget was marked up. So why does it look like it was made cheaper? Like, did all the money go to those fast-paced action scenes? Because I don't know, man. There's some questionable CGI in this movie every now and then. They're so little that you can barely notice them. Like the scene where she's on the air balloons later on. It's like, okay, that's a little spotty. Or the scene where they go down the elevator into the Kingsman underground tunnel. Like, oh, that's a little spotty. But, like, they're just little moments, and they're dismissible. The CGI in the second movie is just borderline unforgivable, man. Like, nothing looks real.
No, it was absolutely... That's what really just fucking deterred me away from that movie, man. It was just so bad.
It looked like they shot on more green screen than they did actual, like, physical places. So, like, Julianne Moore, she's somewhere in the jungle, and every time they transition to the jungle, everything looks out of focus. Like they don't want you to see the green screen on purpose. You know what I'm talking about?
Man.
Like the jungle, just everything about it looked like it wasn't shot properly. Just like, I don't know, like, just how it was shot was just very poorly rendered. The CGI dogs looked like shit. The action scenes were fine, but like the scene you were talking about where they're all in cages looked awful. Even when they get out of the cages and they're just kind of walking in the background.
Oh my god.
Terrible. Looked fucking terrible.
Looks like a bunch of fucking high schoolers with green screen After Effects made it.
I don't understand.
And dude, honestly, at first I thought I was just being picky. Because I can be kind of picky when it comes to CGI. You know me.
Sure, yeah.
But no, man, that was just fucking atrocious. Can we talk about how Colin Firth's death in this movie has absolutely no fucking meaning because of the second movie?
Yeah, let's do it. So I hinted at it earlier how this movie... So the second movie kind of undercuts certain things that were done in this movie. Yeah, Harry Hart being brought back to life is stupid. I don't think there's any other word to describe it than stupid.
Oh my god, dude. It was just...
Do you want to talk about how they bring him back? Because that's stupid in and of itself.
I'm going to let you take care of it because I'm shaking my head.
They have a super, like, Band-Aid that has this gel in it, this like super chemical gel that can repair tissue in the brain. So if you get shot in the head, it's okay. We'll bring you back to life. No problem. But you might have some memory loss. Well, whoop-de-fucking-do. That doesn't even matter. That itself, the rules that they describe, doesn't even matter itself. Because when Pedro Pascal gets shot in the head, he has absolutely no memory loss. He comes back like right away, and he fucking hops on a plane. He can fly a plane all by himself, and he goes to the jungle. He knows where the jungle's at, and he's just nothing. Like, they bring him back, and by bringing him back, it's like nothing matters. No matter what they do, they can just undo it. And that's just poor writing, man. That's just bad writing. Why do you think they brought him back, man?
I have no fucking idea, man. It was just... I feel like they needed characters.
I think I physically groaned when I saw how they brought him back.
No, yeah, I was just sitting in the theater like, really, this is...
They didn't go for like he has a twin brother. They didn't go for he's a clone. No, they went for the tissue in the brain.
It's like, oh, this convenient fucking thing we just introduced like 30 seconds ago.
This all-encompassing cure for death.
For being shot in the face.
You think they would have used that technology to save millions of more people across the world? You think the government would have a hold of that technology to save their soldiers, when they go across fucking wherever they go, when they're, sent to off to war?
No, it's Kingsman, man. They gotta keep it themselves.
No, you gotta...
See, my question also is, if they have fucking nanites that rebuilt his fucking brain...
Fucking nanites.
They rebuilt his fucking brain. They couldn't rebuild his eye.
No, Ivan, that's just silly.
No, we gotta make him look different. We gotta make him look edgier.
They can rebuild his brain and have him have the same memories as he did before. There's absolutely no way he can have his eyesight back, Ivan.
Oh, dude.
That would just be too silly.
There is just so much of this fucking movie I absolutely hate. I didn't
even think about that. Like, yeah, they could have given his eye back.
They killed the girl. What was her name?
Stupid. I don't. Roxy.
Roxy, yeah, Roxy.
That could be wrong, but
they killed her in like the first 20 minutes of the movie, and I am telling you right now, I am calling it. They're gonna bring her back. They'll be like, oh, she survived because of some sort of Kingsman special trauma bunker.
See, the problem is I don't think you're wrong. I don't think it's such a long shot that I think you might be right, because I was pissed off when they killed those characters. I was mad when they killed Roxy, and I was mad when they killed his fucking dog, because it's almost like they don't matter.
No.
Like, it's almost as if in this fucking movie alone, you see how important what is the dog's name? Mr. Pickles is to Harry. Just in one scene, you can see how important the dog was to him. So you get the sense that this dog, and it's not just the fact that he's a dog, it's that these characters spent time with Eggsy, and they mean something to him, so they mean something to us as an audience.
No.
So by killing them off so inconsequentially is very fucking frustrating.
No, you know what, man? You're wrong, because one of his friends that fucking smoked crack lived, so it's fine.
They killed one of his friends too. They're like, oh, these are my friends. I have friends. You remember my friends? Oh, it doesn't matter. One of them's dead.
I haven't forgotten where I come from because I still have friends from back in the day.
You know fucking what got me mad though? Is he's like, oh, look at me. I remember my roots. They don't fucking show his mom once.
No.
Until the end of that goddamn movie when he gets married. His mom is a integral part of this movie, of this first movie, The Secret Service. It's like yeah, it's my mom, and I don't know if I should do it for my mom. I want to take care of her, you know. She already lost my dad. I don't know if she's ready to lose me. So he unreluctantly takes it because it's good paying, and he can, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't his mom, like, yeah, there's a whole plot point revolving around getting his mom away from a bad boyfriend, and doesn't he have a little sister?
Yeah.
That, like, that's just absolutely gone from the second movie. And that got me mad too. This is like, you're gonna kill the dog, you're gonna kill his friend, and you're not gonna show his mom. You might as well have killed the mom too, because it doesn't fucking matter.
Oh my god. All right, another gripe I have with this fucking movie: the way they killed Mark Strong's character.
West Virginia.
Now, see, here is my fucking thing, because they were talking about Mark Strong and Halle Berry. They were talking about, like, don't you ever wish you could be out in the field? And this, and he finally gets his chance to go out there and be a Kingsman. Chance. And in the first 20 fucking seconds, it's like, all right, we're gonna attack this base. You guys ready? Click. Oh shit! I stepped on the landmine.
The thing is, they had a mine-detecting baseball bat. What was the point of having that if you're not gonna fucking use it? What?
And then, oh my fucking! He's just like, no, you guys go. He freezes it and switches himself out in place for it. He's just like, all right.
You could see it coming from a mile away what was gonna happen and how it was gonna go down.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just so sad. It was like, did Mark Strong just? Did his contract expire? Did he not want to be in any more Kingsman movies?
I think he saw the way this movie was going, was like, you know what? I don't want to be involved in this anymore.
Because if that's the case, man, it could have been anything else. See, the thing is, Mark Strong and Matthew Vaughn have a good relationship. So he's been in, like, tons of other Matthew Vaughn movies. He was in Kick-Ass, and he was in the romance one, the fantasy romance one. I'm forgetting the name of it. But so he, like, they have a good repertoire back and forth together. But I can't see if this was Mark Strong's idea, why did he have to go out? No matter whose idea it was, why did he have to go out like that? Why like that? Like, you could see it coming a mile away, but the way it was coming was just absolutely pointless, man. Like, just a complete disservice to that character. Like, the way when Harry dies in the first movie, you can feel that Eggsy feels like he lost a mentor, that he
almost
lost
like a father figure that he never had.
Yeah. But then him and Mark Strong have a good back and forth together at the end. Like, I was looking forward to their relationship growing, and it just doesn't. That could have been a good narrative arc in and of itself. Mark Strong wants to go on to the service, and Eggsy needs a mentor, and Mark Strong's trying to figure out how to be that mentor figure for Eggsy, but no, instead they decide to bring back Harry, who I didn't. Not only did I not like how they brought back Colin Firth, but I just didn't like him in the movie. Like, I didn't understand his character anymore, and I just didn't think he was cool anymore, and everything that made him in this movie, I felt was just gone in the second. Because he's basically a new character. He has absolutely no memory of being this person that we fell in love with. He might as well have just been a different character. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
Like, you're going to rewrite him, then why include him at all? Like, if you're going to bring him back. Yeah, I survived a gunshot to the head. Yeah, I'm fucking cool. Like, and then just own it. Go with it. But instead, they just make poor decision after poor decision. So Mark Strong dies, Harry's back, and it's just not the way I would have wanted it at all.
Well, I feel like they were just killing people off left and right in that movie just to try to make it seem like, oh, this movie's super serious, guys. People are dying. You know, like, it was garbage.
But it's so not serious that you can't help but question why they went for it in the first. You know what I mean? Like, there's no consequences. Nothing makes sense. nothing matters. So why try to have serious moments then? God. Just so disappointing.
Yeah, honestly, I told you, man. Like, I was so hyped up for this movie because of the first one, and there was so much potential.
And I feel like they even fall short with the Statesman thing. So the marketing was like, oh yeah, the Kingsmen, they're gonna team up with their American counterparts, and yeah, America. That never happens.
No.
Like,
dude, Tom Hardy. Is it no? Fuck, not Tom Hardy. Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum's character, like, to me, it was marketed like he was gonna be a big, like, proponent of the Kingsman thing. He has like 3 scenes.
He's all over the marketing. He's in every trailer, every poster, and he's just like in the movie for 5 minutes, maybe.
Oh my god! And the way they set up the sequel, just a shameless setup.
All right. So you really like this first movie?
Yes.
And you really don't like the second movie?
No.
Would you see the third one?
Yeah. I kind of hate myself for saying it, but yeah.
See, I don't know anymore. As of right now, am leaning towards no, because nothing matters. So, like, no, if they make a third movie, and it's fine, say it's good movies, at least it's a step up from the second one. If they continue and they make a fourth one, I know, like, what happened in the third one's just not gonna matter. Because they can just, no matter what happens in the third movie, they can undo it in the fourth or the fifth. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, nothing matters. I can't emphasize that enough. Like, they could just be like, fuck it.
I feel like in
Mark
the third
Strong,
movie,
he's back. The dog, he's back. And he has a cyborg dog. Like, ugh.
I just feel like the third movie's gonna be like, oh, we fucked up and the world ended. That's how it ends. Fourth movie, oh, we fixed it. It's fine. The world's okay now.
See, I don't know. So there's not a third movie on the docket yet. So they haven't made an official announcement yet. And I think part of the reason is because Matthew Vaughn is still trying to figure out what he wants to do next. You know what I mean? Like, what he wants to direct next. Reportedly, he's in talks to direct Man of Steel 2.
Yeah.
Do you think, after seeing The Golden Circle, do you think he'd be a good suit for Superman and the DCEU? Or would you rather see him do something like Kingsman 3?
Okay, honestly, I personally don't see him working with the DCU. Just because I don't know what DCU's trying to do. They're trying to go for like a serious.
I don't think DC knows what DC's trying to do.
I mean, if anybody's, people that have listened to us before, they know we are not the biggest fans of DC at all right now.
We're not, as the DC extended universe.
Yeah.
We should be specific.
Yes,
because DC's made some great movies in the past. I'm the number one fan of the Dark Knight trilogy. The Dark Knight is my second favorite movie of all time. The Superman movies were great, but the DC extended universe, starting with Man of Steel in 2013, just has not been good.
I don't think he'll be a good fit. Then again, I don't see anybody being a good fit because fuck the DCU.
I agree with you with that, and I agree in the fact that I'm still a big fan of Matthew Vaughn. He's directed one bad movie in my eyes, so that doesn't discredit him from the fact that he's made several great movies that are some of my favorite movies. The one thing with Matthew Vaughn I can say is that he knows how to have fun. He knows how to make a fun movie. The DC films are just not fun. They're depressing, and they're dour, and they're dark and gritty and so serious.
Except for Suicide Squad.
That movie is... that movie's still not fun. That movie's a headache in its own right.
That movie is down and depressing for other reasons.
So maybe if they were trying to, if the DC extended universe never happened, and they were trying to make their own Marvel Cinematic Universe, right? So it's 2017, the DCU never existed, and they want to make a connected universe, and they want to make Superman. I'd be like, yeah, Matthew Vaughn, he could make a very fun, super optimistic Superman film. But to make it fit in with the DCEU and what's been established in that universe already, that's a different story altogether. And that I just do not see coming to fruition.
That's a whole other monster.
Yeah.
Moral of the story
is don't direct a movie in the DCEU.
Pretty much. Unless you're really desperate for a paycheck.
I mean, otherwise, yeah, I mean, you got to make that money, man.
So, what other issues did you have with Golden Circle?
What happened?
What other issues do you have with the Golden Circle?
The villain. She sucks.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
She sucks, man. There's... Okay, so yeah, like we were saying before, when we're introduced to Samuel L. Jackson, we automatically understand him on a fundamental level. We understand that he's evil, yes, but we know he doesn't want to be evil. We understand that he doesn't like blood, for instance, and that he doesn't like killing on his own. That tells you something about his character.
Yeah.
We understand he has a lisp, and so he has an inferiority complex. We get that.
It's so much so that it got to the point when I first watched this movie where I could kind of see myself justifying the outcome. The way he goes about it, no, but what he's trying to do, I feel like, okay, this is a little... Okay, I can see where he's coming from.
In his shoes, you could kind of see where he's coming from.
Yes.
The world's a fucked up place, and maybe something should be done. And hey, giving the world free Wi-Fi, that's a cool and an original idea. That's something that, people would go out of their ways to try and get. In the second movie,
what's her motivation?
I can't even tell you anything about her, other than I think she likes the 1950s. Is that a character trait? Is that a defining character trait? She likes the 1950s. I can't tell you anything else about her. She runs a drug cartel. So original. Like she's evil. I think she's alone. I don't know. I don't know any fucking thing about her. She's a cartoon. She feels like a cartoon in a cartoon movie.
I mean, okay, so from what I remember, her motivation is she wants to end the war on drugs and legalize all drugs.
Yeah, okay,
so
that's right.
Can
yeah.
So she can go back home and make money and be rich.
So okay, so she sells drugs. It's unclear as to what drugs she sells, and it's implied that she might sell every kind of drug.
Yeah.
Right? I'm right? She has a monopoly on every single drug in the world. Cool. So? So what? Like, why? Why does she live in a fucking
give
jungle?
Us, a snippet of her background. It's just oh yeah, by the way, she graduated from or whatever, and this and this.
I don't remember that at all.
Exactly, it's so forgettable.
Man. And the way she plays it too. So Julianne Moore, she's also an Oscar award winner. So I understand why they'd want to get her, because they're like, okay, we've had Oscar award winning talent in the first movie and we turned them into action stars. So let's do that for the second movie. But she doesn't. There's not one scene where she stands out. She just sits there and smiles and like, ha ha ha. You don't bow to my will? Into the meat grinder. Ha ha. I'm so evil. You know what I mean? There's
Oh my god.
stupid.
Now eat the burger I made from your friend.
That was. Oh, that's. He ate it too like a bitch.
Oh my god.
Just stupid, man. Like, I can't relate to her on any level, but I can't relate to anyone else on any level, so I don't fucking know, man. And okay, so another issue I have is Elton John. Why did she have Elton John?
Fucking John. Why?
She slightly references like the fact that Samuel L. Jackson in the first movie, oh, he was kidnapping celebrities. That was a fun idea. So does she like Elton John, or does she not like Elton John? Because the dogs aren't supposed to kill Elton John, but she gives him the drugs. He's in the movie more than Channing Tatum is.
Yeah, no, he has more fight scenes than Channing Tatum does.
Every time he does, he actually does. That's really sad. Every time he appeared on screen, the audience I was with laughed. They got to laugh every single time.
Yeah, yeah.
Every time I saw him, man, I fucking groaned and I rolled my eyes. Because I couldn't believe that they were still going on with the Elton John joke. I get it. You have Elton John in your movie. Move on.
Now let me ask you this, because I was curious about this.
Yeah.
So, had you not seen the first Kingsman, and had this been a standalone movie,
yes,
would you have liked it?
Not at all. I would have thought it was a stupid. See, my thoughts on Kingsman: The Golden Circle is that it thinks it's way more clever than it actually is, and that it's just as bad as the bad James Bond movies that it's trying to make fun of. So, I would have still felt that way if it was the first movie that I seen in Kingsman, but I probably would have thought it was worse since I didn't have that emotional connection with Eggsy to begin with. You know what I mean? Okay. I would have been like, oh, Eggsy, he's this prick who doesn't care about anyone. He cheats on his girlfriend. He has no family. One of his friends dies. It doesn't matter. Like, there wouldn't have been anything to connect me to the characters. So what connects me to the characters is what I saw in this movie, in the first movie. So I probably would have thought it was an even worse movie if Golden Circle was the first one that I saw.
Oh, okay, I can see that. All right.
How about you? What do you think?
I think I would have saw it, and I think I would have enjoyed it as, one of those just action popcorn flicks.
Yeah.
But knowing what I know and just seeing how far it's fallen from what it was, I can't like it. All right, here we're about to have the iconic church
glorious fucking scene.
Man.
One of the best quotes in the movie right here. When this her face is like, what did you just say to me? when I saw this scene, my jaw fucking dropped cuz it's so fun and it's so fresh and so unique and it's so ballsy. I'm like, damn, Matthew Vaughn went there. He's in a church killing people who are there to pray. Just wiping out people left and right. And it's fun.
Okay, if I remember correctly.
And there's nothing like this in the second movie. Nothing like this. You can have all the action scenes you want, But there's nothing as impactful as this fucking scene right here.
And if I remember correctly, at the time, this is like when the Westboro Baptist Church was kind of like really in the news, and I think this is like
Probably.
they were playing off that. I think, where this is like a ultra religious hate group.
Probably. I don't remember at all. I I still can't believe this scene is nuts.
Oh yeah.
Look at this shit, man. This is great. This is a great scene. This one self-contained like 5-minute sequence in and of itself is better than the entire 2-hour movie of the second film.
Oh, absolutely. Just how over the top, but in a good way it is.
But it's so good. Because, see, it's over the top, but the characters can't believe what they're seeing. So you see shots of Eggsy, and he's like, oh, man, what the fuck? And you see shots of Merlin, and he's like, what am I seeing?
You see Valentine just like, I don't want to look at this. Just
completely disgusted. But anytime there's an over-the-top scene in the second movie, it's like, yep, that's pretty much expected. Oh, he has an electric lasso. Yep, I can see that. I'm surprised you don't have a lasso that shoots bullets. You know what I mean? Like, there's... it's so over the top that this movie has those moments where they can take a step back from all the over-the-top and zany weirdness. And it's like, okay, we exist in the real world, even if we're, like, insane and over the top. The second movie doesn't. It never takes the step back. It's like, yeah, we're a cartoon. Yeah, of course we're a cartoon. Yeah, we're going to flip over cars, and I have a robot hand, and robot dogs are going to chase you, and there's never a moment to step back and kind of reassess the world as a whole. Does that make sense?
Yeah. This is such a good fight scene.
So good. It's still going. This is fucking fun.
Oh yeah.
See, this is what like should have been in the. This should be how the DCEU is. Suicide Squad should have been this fun. Like, Matthew Vaughn should direct a Superman movie. It just wouldn't fit with what they're doing because of how not fun and not this that universe is.
See, I think Matthew Vaughn would have done a much better job directing a Suicide Squad movie or the Suicide Squad.
I absolutely agree.
Like, I think he would have been a perfect fit, and that would have been absolutely fantastic.
Look at his face. He just went through all that, and he can't even believe what he just did. In the second, there's no subtlety in the second movie. When he breaks out an electric lasso, they're like, yeah, it sounds about right. Like, there's nothing, man. And it's just so, like, hollow.
Yeah.
That scene still holds up. That's a great fucking scene.
Oh, absolutely.
And here we have it. This is where Harry Hart's about to bite the dust.
And 5 minutes after the scene, supposedly, he gets saved by the Statesman.
Yeah, so supposedly the Statesmen are aware of the activity that's going on in the church. And so they go and they come save Colin Firth before there was any damage. Why weren't they involved in anything when Valentine activates his chip again at the end of the movie?
And they never go into fucking any detail after that.
Did they just let it happen?
They're just like, oh, well, we saved this British guy. He doesn't know who he is. It's about good.
See, look at this. Look at how powerful it is. How shocked everyone is that he's gone. Why would you make a scene so vital and so important if in the second movie you would say, fuck it. It doesn't matter. It's not as important.
See, and also right here where we're getting Valentine's, just a little exposition, where his girlfriend slash bodyguard's like, oh, you just killed him, doesn't it feel good? He's like, no, it feels fucking horrible. Yeah, like I said, it just adds more depth to him as a fucking villain compared to fucking Poppy, who was just a 1950s obsessed drug dealer lady with fucking mechanical dogs.
100% agree.
Yeah, dude, there's just... That movie, Golden Circle, introduced some more plot holes than anything to me. It's like, why couldn't you do this? Why couldn't you do that? This would have been more easier. Where were they? It's just so...
See, there's never a moment like this where it's like, in the Golden Circle, where it's like, oh shit, what are we going to do? How are we going to overcome this problem? Second movie, they're like, oh, we got it. Oh, Harry's back. Okay, we got this. Oh, he shot our partner in the face. Ah, it'll be all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh,
everything blew up. Oh, we got this bottle of whiskey. It has a logo. Let's go find these guys.
Oh, it'll be fine. It's all right. It's these moments that make the movie connect with you. You could feel it in his face, and that's why I love this kid, because he could be thuggish and mean, and he can be a gentleman, but he's vulnerable. He's vulnerable right here. And in the second movie, when he just shows up at his burnt down house with an umbrella, you don't feel anything for him. It just feels empty, you know? It's like, yeah, you're here because you have to be here.
Also, okay, in the scene where Colin Firth is back and he's, you know, you got hand again and everything, and he gets his fucking pair of glasses in the bar, and those, like, I guess, like, rednecks or hillbillies or whatever the fuck in the bar start, like, picking on him. And he tries to mimic the manners maketh man scene. Did that joke just go flat for you?
Absolutely flat, because I saw it coming.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was just like, oh, it tosses the glass, missed completely. I was like, wow, this is beyond predictable.
See, the movie was a series of events where I started thinking about how the scene should have played out. So when that scene came up, and I was thinking about how the scene should have been, I couldn't help but stop myself to think, oh, this scene should have just not have been. This should just not have been in the movie. Like, because you shouldn't have brought Harry back. So my fundamental problem with certain scenes in the next film just stems from, like, how it was written. It just shouldn't have been made this way at all. Like, that scene doesn't work because Harry coming back doesn't work. And Harry coming back doesn't work because you have so many other issues with your plot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work because it shouldn't work. Because Harry coming back shouldn't have been an option. Because it feels like such a cop-out. It could have easily started with Pedro Pascal. He could have been, manners maketh man. I'm an American. I'm going to show you how Americans do this. And he could have started by whipping out the whip. Or it could have been Merlin, who was trying to figure out how to be a field agent instead of behind the computer. He could have tried to do it. Or Eggsy could have done it, because Eggsy knows how to do it. Instead, nothing.
Nothing.
Just falls flat.
Like I said, man, I think the thing that hurts the most is just there is so much potential.
Yeah, there was.
So, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I have nothing.
In other news...
You just don't want to talk about this anymore.
No, just I'm going to cherish this movie
See, so we've been pretty downtrodden about the Golden Circle. I know for me anyway, maybe you can answer this. It doesn't take away from how much I enjoy this film.
No, absolutely.
I still absolutely love this film. And it is still one of my favorite movies of 2015. I think it's well acted, well shot. I think the actions are great. I think it's clever and witty. I think it is a great spoof on James Bond. I love it. I love this movie. And so no matter how much we are bashing on the Golden Circle, it doesn't take away from my enjoyment of this film, which is a great, solid piece of cinema.
See, honestly, rewatching this is making me angrier about the Golden Circle. Because just all these actions have no meaning anymore because of the Golden Circle.
Yeah. You can see how good this movie is and just how much it doesn't matter. In the second movie, I should say. They still very much matter in this movie. They just don't feel important in the second.
Alright, so in other news...
yes.
How do you feel about that new poster for Pacific Rim?
That was a 180 degree turn you went there. You went, I don't like this movie. I'm not gonna talk about this movie no more.
Pretty much.
Pacific Rim 2. That's a good trailer. Not trailer. Poster. It's just John Boyega kind of standing there, right? In front. Is he standing in front of his Jaeger?
I think so. I think he's standing in front of Gypsy Danger, like the remade version of Gypsy Danger.
I like the colors. I like the poster. I wonder if, since we see a poster, if that means a trailer is gonna follow. That's usually what it means, but I guess we're gonna find out. I like it. Like, I like to judge posters based off of, does it sell the movie to me, and would I buy it? And to me, yeah, I kind of see it. I see they're obviously pushing that John Boyega is going to be the main character of the second film.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the color scheme. So yeah, I like it. I want to see a trailer. I want to see a real trailer. I don't want to see no fake promotional video that's within universe. I want to see a real trailer. I want to see how this movie looks before I make any real judgments. Because they just released the Tomb Raider poster, and I thought the poster was fine, and then they released the trailer, and I was like, no, I don't want to see it at all anymore. So it all comes down to that first trailer and the first impression I get with that trailer. Have you seen the Tomb Raider poster and trailer?
I have seen the trailer. I have not seen the poster.
Okay, so imagine Lara Croft, her back is to the poster, and she's kind of looking behind her. It's that. It's just a typical poster. Like, there's nothing. She has her back, and she's looking. Like, it's nothing. And how'd you feel about the trailer?
It's something I would consider watching, but I just... Video game movies have not had...
have sucked ass? Yeah.
So I'm more concerned than anything about it just being pretty shitty.
I think I've given up. I think I've given up hope on video game movies, man. I was convinced that last year Warcraft or Assassin's Creed would break the mold, that they'd be the video game movies to all video game movies, and they sucked. both of them sucked for different reasons, but they both sucked. And when I saw the trailer for Tomb Raider, it reminded me of a trailer to something that would come out in the early 2000s. Based off of the music, off the CGI. You know what I mean? Like when she jumps off the boat and it's slow motion into the ocean. Or she's running through a corridor, and she has to do that thing where they're ducking but they're sliding, and something comes over their head but they're ducking and sliding, and it's in slow motion. And it's like it feels like a video game and less like a movie, and that never makes a good mix of a movie. Which just makes me feel sad. Because with Lara Croft, you can have a good movie. Like, you can have a good updated version of, say, Indiana Jones. But from watching the movie, I didn't get that feel at all.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, like I said, man, I'm still pretty, I guess. I'm mixed. I'm not sure how I feel yet about it. I need to see a little bit more stuff just before I make a.
It's just too early to make that call.
Yeah, it's just a little too early for me.
I've just given up hope. I don't think I'll ever believe that a video game movie will do good until I see it for myself. Until I'm sitting in the theater and I'm with a crowd of people and we're all cheering at how good everything is. Until that day, I just refuse to put my hopes up any longer.
Wasn't there another Lara Croft movie like in the last 10 years or something?
Yeah, there was the Angelina Jolie films. There was 2 of them.
Oh yeah.
There was Tomb Raider, and then there was fucking, I don't know, Tomb Raider, probably generic title like Rise of the something.
Yeah.
Rise of the Tomb Raider. You know what, like. And based off the new trailer, I don't feel like this movie's really gonna be any different from those movies. This was the scene I was talking about earlier, where she's up in space with the air balloons, and maybe some of the CGI looks a little spotty. But even rewatching it right now on my TV, it doesn't look that bad.
No. The only real issue I had was the CGI in this movie is when they're in the like hangar ramp airbase thingy.
Yeah.
That's a little rough, but it's nothing compared to fuck man, like just Golden Circle. That just had horrible CGI all around.
Yeah.
Like for the Golden Circle and all the scenes where like they're showing Poppy's like I guess little jungle house thingy. I felt like that was just in the back of a movie studio.
It was a green screen, and
like they put a few like plants they got like an office supply store. And
the thing is though, you can have yourself a good green screen effect. I don't understand
what happened,
how it looks so bad. Here we have Eggsy's complete narrative arc. He's officially journeying into being the cool, suave gentleman that he always wanted to be by impersonating what's-his-face, Michael Caine. You know, if you say Michael Caine with a British accent,
it sounds just exactly like you're trying to say my cocaine. Michael Caine.
Oh, God.
Stupid joke.
And we just lost what little viewers we had.
They replaced him with Dumbledore in the second movie. And then he dies right away.
Oh, yeah. It was just... Oh, my God. They killed
Just
everybody
everyone
so
dies.
quick.
It just doesn't matter.
Surprised Eggsy didn't die and then get brought back to life.
Don't give him any ideas for the third movie. I wonder if Matthew Vaughn will direct the third movie. I wonder if Matthew Vaughn's just good at setting up franchises as opposed to continuing them. Because he did Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass is awesome. I don't know how you feel about Kick-Ass. I personally love Kick-Ass. Kick-Ass... Yeah, so Kick-Ass got a sequel, but Matthew Vaughn wasn't involved in either writing or directing. And the sequel to Kick-Ass absolutely sucks. Matthew Vaughn did X-Men First Class, while technically is like the 4th or 5th movie in the X-Men universe. It's, for all intents and purposes, a reboot of that franchise. Very soft reboot of that franchise. It is awesome. But he was not involved at all with the writing and directing of the sequel. So he finally got to do a sequel with Kingsman. And it sucks. What happened? I love this movie. And I'm finally looking forward to him doing a sequel. All of his movies that he's set up in any franchise have all been great. And he's never had the chance to do a sequel. And I've been waiting for him to do a sequel. And he finally does it. And it's as if he wasn't involved in it at all. Again, only this time he was absolutely 100% involved. And it just also happened to suck. Should Kingsman have even had a sequel?
Yes. But it just should have been done better.
Well, that's easy to say in hindsight.
Yeah, man, it's 2020.
2020, bro. I don't know, because like I said, I was always looking forward to the Matthew Vaughn sequel, and he finally gets to do a sequel. So now that I've seen it, where I'm like, yeah, no, he shouldn't have done a sequel. He should have gave that to someone else.
No, okay, let me ask you this: how much do you think was actually all of the Golden Circle was actually Matthew Vaughn?
I think it was 100% him. I honestly think that the Golden Circle is the movie that he wanted to make. Because I never heard anything about, issues. Like, you hear all about all these Lucasfilm controversies that are happening right now because the movies that Disney and Lucasfilm want to make just aren't in line with the movies that the directors they hire want to make. And the same thing happens with Fox. It happens all the time. It's happening with Fox and Ridley Scott with Alien. So Ridley Scott wants to make 6 other Alien movies, and Fox is like, well, you haven't really made a great Alien movie lately, so we're not so sure we see eye to eye with that contract we have. And so none of that you hear with Fox and Kingsman. So I have to believe that The Golden Circle is the exact movie that Matthew Vaughn just wanted to make. And if that's the case, the movie he wanted to make sucks.
Alright. So, I got some more completely unrelated news, things that I kind of want to talk to you about, if that's alright.
Unrelated movie news, let's do it.
So, I guess production on or filming for Avatar 2 begins pretty soon.
I think they just started filming.
Yeah,
which is another Fox. That's another Fox property. So technically, Yeah, that's a little segue. That's a little segue.
Fox and James Cameron, yeah. I think as a matter of fact, today might have been the day where they started filming.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead. Continue telling me what are your thoughts.
Just how do you feel about it? Because to me, Avatar wasn't really that great of a movie plot-wise. Had kind of this like pretty predictable, kind of allegory for, I guess, Native Americans.
Yes. Very, not subtle. Very on the nose.
It's pretty heavy-handed.
What its messages were. Yes, that's the word.
But yeah, I mean, I just feel like it was more just the cinematography of it and just like the actual effects of it. All that is what got its big recognition.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that movie was more of a spectacle than it was a finely put together plot. That being said, I still love the movie. I do love Avatar. I can say that firmly. I know it's a very popular opinion to hate on the movie based on how thin the plot was. I still love that movie. I saw it twice when it came out in theaters. I got the extended cut on DVD. That being said, I'm not looking forward to this movie at all. That movie. These movies. That is a plural. There are 4 movies. They're shooting 4 movies back to back to back to back. It's just too late, man, for me to care. The first movie came out in 2009. It's 2017. By the time the second movie comes around, it would already have been 10 years since the first movie came out.
Yeah.
Does anyone care about Avatar that much? I don't think the answer is yes.
You totally have those people who committed suicide because they wanted to live in the Avatar world so bad.
The thing is, since they're filming 4 movies back to back to back to back, the reported budget of this franchise is already near $1 billion.
Fucking A.
That's a lot of investment, man. I can't, I think Avatar was just lightning in a bottle. It was unexpected to everyone. I don't think anyone expected it to make the amount of money that it did. It just so happened to do so. So to put $1 billion into 4 movies, how do you expect it to make that much money back? I don't know. That's a gross. That's a gross investment. Like, I can't be someone at Fox and be like, "Yep, I'm 100% confident in this investment that we have just made."
You know, honestly, I have trouble seeing it succeed because, like you said, it was a spectacle. That's pretty much the main reason why I feel like it did so well before. And now we're in an era where there's just absolutely beautiful CGI and just beautiful artwork all around, all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Avatar did pioneer a lot for the visual effects industry and the 3D films. Like, every film had to be released in 3D because of how great the Avatar 3D film, how great Avatar was as a film in 3D.
Yeah, but I feel like that gimmick's already worn off.
Yeah. When's the last time you saw a movie in 3D?
Honestly, the last time I saw a movie in 3D was, I think, over a year ago, and the only reason I saw it then was because the regular showtime was just too far out ahead. I was like, alright, might as well just see it now in 3D.
Yeah, like it was an inconvenience for you to have to see the regular show, so you're like, I guess I'm seeing this movie in 3D.
Yeah, but honestly, pretty much. Otherwise, I just would not have seen it.
I mean, James Cameron, he's a real visionary. So, like, I have faith in him as a director. And I look forward to seeing what technological advancements the second Avatar movie may potentially bring. I think that's a very exciting prospect in and of itself. But like I've been saying, and like I've always been saying, if you want to make a good franchise, you gotta focus on one movie at a time. Oh, look at all their heads are exploding. I think this is a perfect representation of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You make one good thing and it's fun. And then if you're trying to do multiple fun things at once, it's just not fun. This is great. Look at this. They're about to blow up Barack Obama's head. There he's gone. Barack Obama's dead. It's fantastic. This is going to be everyone at Fox once they realize they're not going to make their money back on Avatar. Their heads are going to spontaneously combust.
There's definitely going to be a few people not there anymore after that. I had another thing I kind of wanted to talk to you about if I can remember what. Of course. So, a movie that we recently saw that wasn't garbage.
What movie have we recently saw that wasn't garbage?
Stephen King's It.
Oh, yeah, It. Yeah.
So, as I said before on the podcast, I am not the biggest fan of horror movies by far at all. And in fact, it took a friend convincing me, pretty much forcing me to go see it. And I am glad they did, because that movie is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, see, I think that movie works because fundamentally speaking, it's a great film. And it works as a horror film second. Because as a movie, it's about these kids trying to overcome an obstacle. And that obstacle just so happens to be set in a universe that has horror clowns in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you agree with that at all? Or, as the non-horror fan, yeah, how did It speak to you?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be honest. You can repeat what you said because I was kind of following along to the movie again.
It's the ending, so it's the good part. He's about to fuck her in the ass eventually. We're getting to that part, but fundamentally speaking, I think It works because it's a movie. It's a coming of age movie about kids first, and a horror movie second. Would you agree with that at all? And do you think?
Yeah, I definitely would, because there's a lot of scenes in there where you're just like, oh yeah, I was an awkward teenager, and it's stuff like that, like the Losers Club thing, and I can definitely see that as playing a role in it.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like it was a great movie just in general, honestly. I mean, everything was shot so well, and you really connected with the characters, and everything had so much weight,
Yes. I think those kids were great. I think me and you, we like to shit on kid actors a lot.
Yeah.
Because kid actors suck. I mean, when you get a kid actor, they could make or break your movie. And so, for all of them, I think all of them were great. Every single member of the Losers Club, I think, did a fantastic job. And so, you can really feel for them. You get a good sense of how each of them are individually. You know what I mean? You get a good sense of who they are as individuals. And so, when they come together, you get a even greater sense of their bond together. And so I think it works as such a great coming-of-age story that the horror film is secondary, which I think is great. I think that works great because I think it poises itself to be a better film that way than it would be, say, oh, we're a clown and yeah, we have these kids, but who cares about the kids? Everyone's here for the clown.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I saw it, I did have a couple people in the audience leaving going, oh, it wasn't even all that scary. I've seen scarier movies. Well, I think the movie wasn't trying to be so scary. Like, obviously, yes, it does have some scares and some jump scares, but it's a film first and a horror picture second.
Yeah. Although there were some scenes that were just a little over the top for me. Like the first 5 minutes.
Oh yeah.
It's like, help me, Billy, help me. I was like, oh shit, what is going on?
So we're talking about Kingsman. So let's not go into spoilers with it.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone's seen it by now because that's movies making bank at the box office, and everyone's memeing about the Pennywise dance.
Oh, that has to be one of the greatest things to come out of that movie.
That dance is the greatest thing in my life. But yeah, the first 5 minutes. Well, would you say it's a bad over the top with how gory it could get, or a good over the top?
See, I didn't like it. Personally, I didn't like it. I just felt like it was a little too over the top, but I mean, the rest of the movie didn't seem that way at all to me.
Sure. So it didn't bother how you felt about the rest of the film.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. At first, I didn't like it. Like when watching it for the very first time, because for a different reason, I think. Not so much that I thought it was over the top, but probably more because I thought with horror movies, you kind of want to save the horror. You don't want to blow your load in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so when they showed how graphically Pennywise kills Georgie, I was like, oh, well, I've seen it. I've seen the clown. I know how he kills kids. I know how he works. So what does it matter? But they didn't. Because like I said, the movie is so much more focused on the kids than it is the clown that the rest of the movie works. And there are plenty of other scares that are different from that one specific gory scene that is over the top, that it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, they didn't blow their load. They actually have a great movie with themes about growing up in the 80s, and it's how fun it can be and how parents can be assholes.
No, yeah. There's a few scenes in that movie. I think the thing about the movie that made me the most uncomfortable was not like a horror scene at all.
You don't want to? Are you not trying to say it because it might be spoilery?
I'm not trying to say it because it might be spoilery, but what has to do with the female character.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
And like the parent.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that scene made me much more uncomfortable than any of the jump scares or just spookiness from Pennywise in the movie.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. I recommend people see it.
Yeah, it's alright. I give it 10.
It was alright.
No, I would give it 10. But it still is a good movie. You looking forward to the sequel at all?
Yeah, actually, yeah. You know, probably the only other scary movie I see for another while, but yeah,
they finally did announce the sequel, so it's coming out in 2019.
Got a few other sequels coming out in 2019, huh?
I don't know. Everything's a sequel nowadays.
So here we have our protagonist. He's defeated the antagonist, and he's standing over him. While we get some exposition.
But they are making fun of itself by claiming how cliche it is. It's funny. It works, man. It's clever, and there's never anything just as clever in the second movie. That's all I can say. I could just say this movie's good, and there's nothing like this in the second. But that could be true about any of the scenes. I could pick out any scene in this movie and point out what's lacking in the second movie that's in one of the scenes in the first movie, because it's just true. Sad truth. And here we have the infamous scene. We got the anal butt joke. And that is Kingsman: The Secret Service. Great movie. I'd say great movie.
Yeah, definitely. I would say so as well.
It's just a fun movie to watch. Like, has a lot of great moments, characters you care about and empathize with, action that's just very well shot, a villain you understand, music that works very well, just everything that is just 100% lacking in the sequel.
Pretty much. Oh, this scene.
You got a little mid-credit scene. I didn't even stick around for the credits of the second movie, so I don't know if they had anything after the credits or in the middle of the credits. At that point, I didn't care. I was ready to get off the theater. Yeah, see, like he did this whole thing for his mom. It was a very crucial thing for him.
And she's not anywhere in the second movie except towards the very, very end.
He doesn't even like check up on her or nothing. It's just stupid. Like even when the pandemic is happening and it's like everyone is dying from taking these drugs, he doesn't think to call his mom and be like, "Hey mom, you're not taking drugs by any chance, are you?" You know what? Like nothing. Doesn't seem very mannerly.
Fantastic movie.
Great movie. That movie still very much holds up. I think I didn't know this movie was dedicated to his mother.
Yeah, I had no idea either.
But that's a great movie. That's probably still one of my favorite movies of 2015. I think it definitely holds up. Because it's a funny spoof of James Bond, but it's also a good movie on its own right. And I don't think The Golden Circle is a good movie on its own.
I'm just disappointed.
You always have the first one, Ivan. No matter how many more shitty Kingsman movies they make, you'll always have the first one.
Yeah, I guess.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say, Ivan?
No, not really. Yeah, go see Kingsman, the first one.
Go see Go out and rent Kingsman: The Secret Service, which has been out for 2 years. If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie, a great take on the spy genre, and not so great of a sequel. You don't have to see it. It's fine. It's whatever. It's forgettable. You'll forget about it. That's what I'm trying to say. You'll remember this movie. You will forget the sequel. Is my assessment accurate?
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up for our commentary track on Kingsman: The Secret Service, although it felt more like a commentary on Kingsman: The Golden Circle, which is fine. Doesn't matter. So I guess we have a few announcements. Not the Best Podcast is now officially available on a couple different platforms. So if you're watching us on either, or if you're listening to us on either YouTube or SoundCloud, feel free to follow us, like us, subscribe to us, and leave your comments, leave your thoughts on the comments below. Let us know what you thought about this, or let us know what other movies you'd like us to comment on. If you would like to support us, you can go ahead and subscribe to us at Bandcamp at notthebestpodcast.bandcamp.com, and you can donate whichever amount of money you would like to. It's completely optional. You don't have to. You can download it for free. I'm just saying it's an option that you can donate to us, and we'd greatly appreciate that. Or if you're listening to us, if you can't listen to us on any one of those platforms, you can find us on iTunes and listen to us on the go. Isn't that all exciting, Ivan? We're on different platforms.
Absolutely, man. It's like a dream come true.
It's pretty legit. So we're going to continue doing this, despite what that one hater had to say about our Ghost in the Shell commentary. We are going to continue doing this. This is a thing we want to do. We want to comment, and we want to talk about movies, because we love movies, except for the movies we hate. We hate those movies.
DCEU.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. I'm David. You can find my own personal reviews at David Lopez Reviews on YouTube.
And I'm Ivan.
And we're Not the Best Podcast. We're not the best,
but we're aight.
We're aight. All right, we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.